Now, it's all about real fast food. Real fast food should always grab your attention with big, gutsy flavours, fantastic aromas, and be immediately satisfying. It should also be easy to make and quick to cook. And real fast food doesn't get much faster than my first dish. Chicken stir-fry with rice noodles. Some of the best street food I've ever eaten was in Asia. Every one of those little markets was filled with smells of delicious food that all centred around an Asian staple, noodles. Learn to cook those properly, and you'll be surprised how quick and easy it is to knock up a delicious dinner. First off, we're going to soak our noodles. Now, these are rice noodles. Into a bowl, and just pour the hot water over the rice noodles. Soak and rehydrate. 12 to 15 minutes to soften up. If you've got a wok, perfect. If not, just a normal size frying pan with big sloping sides. Pan on. Get it really nice and hot. Chicken breast, very lean, hardly any fat. On there, you've got this little fillet. Just slice that off. Now, the secret to getting it really nice and thin and to cut it into strips. Take your knife, keep it nice and flat on the board and sort of slice it in half, like a sort of scallop, like that. We call this butterfly in the chicken. Take a rolling pin and nice and gently roll over the chicken. And what it does, it sort of flattens it, allows you to slice it even thinner. And the thinner the slice of the chicken, the sort of crispier it gets, the quicker it cooks. Slice it in half. Just start slicing these nice, thin slices. And the good news is, one chicken breast can serve 2 or 3 easily. Next, wash your knife and finely slice garlic. The thinner the garlic, the crispier. This is a young, tender broccoli. Just slice them down. I want a bite to the broccoli. And normally you sort of paste the dish with 1/3 noodles, 1/3 vegetables, and 1/3 of your protein, chicken. With a dish that takes literally minutes to put together, it's really important to get everything organised. Everything needs to be at your fingertips. Touch of olive oil. Get that pan really nice and ready. Just starting to smoke. Drop the chicken in first. Touch of salt, pepper. Open up those little strands of chicken. Nice. Once you've started to sear off the chicken, get the garlic in. Now, let that get really nice and crispy. And the way to do it is to sort of spread all the chicken, the garlic, up the side of the pan. You can see why it's so important to cut the chicken into thin strips, because it colours and cooks at the same time as well. Really, really crucial. Now that garlic's getting really nice and crispy. Broccoli in. Feels strange putting raw broccoli in like that. Normally, we blanch it in boiling water, dry it out, but you want that crunch. Now, soy sauce. That helps to season it, but also stains beautifully. Soy sauce in. Lovely. That's exactly what I want. Now take that out. Give your pan a little wipe out. A little teaspoon of olive oil. Get that wok really nicely oiled again. Drain your noodles. They're beautiful. This is a really exciting way of finishing this quick stir fry. Very classic. 2 eggs in. Whisk up the eggs. And give that a really good whisk. Sort of almost spread it up the side of the pan. Lightly season the eggs, noodles in, chicken and broccoli in. And give that a really nice mix. You want the egg to sort of almost bring the dish together. That egg's cooked. Make sure you got that nice, even distribution of chicken, broccoli, garlic. Lovely. And then just finish that with fresh lime. And there you have a very simple, delicious stir fry with rice noodles. Noodles are a fast food staple, and they come in all shapes and sizes. They're so easy to cook, healthy, but really delicious. Here are 3 effortless recipes that are ready literally in minutes.
First up, noodle soup with poached egg and spring onions. Add miso paste to boiling water. Japanese miso has a wonderful, deep, savoury richness and is brilliant in soups. Grate in fresh ginger. Add dry shiitake mushrooms that have been soaked in water. Season with soy sauce. Crack an egg, add it to the broth and poach for 2 to 3 minutes. Add thinly sliced portobello mushrooms to a serving bowl. Put in fresh medium egg noodles, which will heat through in the hot miso broth. Add spinach. Then simply spoon the broth into your bowl. Top with the egg and fresh chopped spring onions. So simple, so good, and so delicious. Ready in 10 minutes, super fast noodle soup with poached egg and spring onions. My next easy dish, using the versatile noodle, is stir-fried pork noodles. First, marinate pork mince in Shaoxing rice wine, a fortified Chinese wine, soy sauce, and sesame oil. Next, fry chopped ginger in hot olive oil and garlic. Next, add Szechuan peppercorns, which have a wonderful lemony flavour and gives a pleasant tingling sensation. Now, add your marinated pork mince and brown. If you want more seasoning, add extra soy sauce. Then add fiery chili bean paste and rice wine vinegar. Add in cooked egg noodles. Mix together. Finally, top with chopped spring onion and toasted sesame seeds. Packed with flavour and on the table in 15 minutes. Delicious stir-fried pork noodles. My next noodle dish you can knock up in no time is noodles with chilli, ginger and lemongrass. Add chopped onions to hot olive oil, garlic, chilli, and fry. Grate in ginger. Next, lemongrass. First bash it with a knife. Doing this will help release its wonderful lemony flavour and scent. Now, aromatic kaffir lime leaves. Then ground cumin, coriander, and turmeric. Next, add creamed coconut, chicken stock, fish sauce, and simmer. Soak rice vermicelli noodles in hot water. Drain and add to your serving bowl. Pour over the aromatic soup broth. Finish with coriander and chopped chilli. On the table, in and around 20 minutes, noodles with chilli, ginger and lemongrass, real fast food. Fast, healthy, delicious, 3 mouth-watering recipes guaranteed to help you master the art of incredible tasting noodles. Next, 5 more of my 100 top tips to make your home cooking easier. First up, how to joint a chicken for your favourite real fast food dishes.
Open up the legs and just pierce the skin there. Careful not to cut into the breast. And hand on top of the breast and pull the drum back, pop out, and then slice the knife straight across. There's the thigh, there's the drum. get your thumb and feel the joint. And with the weight of the knife, just slices through. Now, 2 beautiful thighs. Now, a bit of a chef's tip, halfway down the drum. Just slice through onto the bone, and then from there, scrape the tendons, and then hand down, nice and firm on top. Now, look at this beautiful bone presentation. As it cooks evenly. Now, pull out the wing, feel where the end of the joint is, and just slice in there, through. A beautiful, big, whole, delicious wing. Now, this is the Rolls-Royce part. 2 breasts, that's the breastbone there. Place the chicken on the board and then just slice down on the back of the crown. Everyone always cuts around. Just tilt it upwards, straight through. That way, we get straight to the center of the carcass, and therefore there's no waste. And look, we end up taking off these plump chicken breasts. Nice. 2 drums, 2 thighs, 2 wings, 2 breasts of chicken, and one amazing carcass for a stock, and not an ounce of waste.
A great tip to stop your skewers burning when you're making kebabs is to soak them in water first. Or for skewers with added flavour, strip your rosemary branches of their leaves and use instead. For no fuss marinating, my tip is to place fish or meat in a plastic storage bag while they marinate. It's easy to store and there's less cleanup. Lime juice or lemon juice make great marinades. My tip for getting maximum amount of juice from a lemon or lime is to roll it hard under your palm for a minute before juicing. Lemons are also useful for rice. Add a couple of drops of juice while you cook it to keep your grains looking nice, white and bright. This is my ultimate cookery course. 100 recipes to stake your life on. I'll be showing you how to make mouth-watering burgers with a difference.
Fork is perfect for a slider, but I want a little bite in there.
But first,
My guide to getting the best ingredients for your money.
whether I'm knocking up fast food or planning a feast, I want my dishes to be the tastiest they can be. And to do that, I always start with the best ingredients I can get.
My shopping mantra is very simple. Knowledge is crucial. The more you know personally about where your ingredients are from and how they're produced, the better. So, ask lots of questions and learn.
Here's a quick rundown of the 6 most useful vinegars and what you can do with them. All make great, fast and easy dressings, with the exception of malt vinegar. Use this for pickling or splashing on your fish and chips. Tangy red wine vinegar is great for marinades, red meats and calf's liver. White wine vinegar is good for sweet and sour recipes, as well as butter sauces. Cherry vinegar, nutty and virgin on the sweet side. It's perfect splashed into gazpacho or teamed with sweet seasoned veg like asparagus or artichokes. While cider vinegar, tart and fruity, is ideal for pickling fruit and for vegetable chutneys. Rice vinegar is an essential for Chinese and Japanese dishes and is lovely and mild in flavour. Balsamic vinegar, widely considered as the king of vinegars, is the one I use time and time again. Dark and syrupy, its sweet and sharp taste is a great addition if you're frying juicy steaks or chops in marinades or on fresh sweet strawberries. Like fine wine, the price reflects the time it's been matured, anywhere between 3 and 25 years. Look out for the stamp to make sure you're getting the genuine article from Italy's Modena region. You can pay up to 200 quid for just 100 mils of top quality balsamic vinegar like this one. And if you do splash out on one of the fine types, you'll have to taste it to believe it. There's a wealth of classic fast food dishes we know and love, from hot dogs and kebabs to tacos and burgers. But the great thing about making them at home is you can throw away the rule book and get creative. My next easy recipe is a miniature version of an American favorite, the burger. Smoky pork sliders with barbecue sauce.
Everyone loves a burger. They're a true fast food original, and that's the exciting thing about street food. You can take an old classic like that and reinvent it into something really exciting. When you think of a burger, what you need is a great sauce, and I like smoky barbecue. goes hand in glove with a great burger.
Start by finely chopping 1 onion and 3 cloves of garlic.
Nice hot pan, tablespoon of olive oil, onions and garlic into the pan. Nice seasoning, salt and pepper. Now, the secret of a good barbecue sauce is that really important caramelization to begin with. A nice tablespoon of brown sugar. It darkens the onions, but it really starts to sort of give that nice syrupy body to the sauce. We'll put a little bit of heat in there now. A nice teaspoon of smoked paprika. That's the important part of working with spices. You've got to cook them out and almost sort of burn off that rawness, especially with the smoked paprika. That's exactly where I want it to go. Onions and garlic, beautifully caramelized. Cider vinegar in. Reduce that down.
Now, I've got a fantastic smoky base. To complete the sauce, I'm making my life really easy and adding pre-made Worcester sauce and tomato ketchup.
Cook that out for 2 to 3 minutes. Now, depending on how thick you like the barbecue sauce, that determines how long you cook it out for. I don't want it to be too runny, but I don't want it to be too thick either. That's the consistency we're looking for. Lovely. Turn down the gas. Touch of seasoning. Now, take that out. It's the kind of sauce that I like to have sort of bottled up in the fridge. It's great for sandwiches, but goes brilliantly well with these sliders. Homemade, smoky barbecue sauce. Give the pan a little wipe. Now, start the mix for the sliders.
To give my mix a really interesting flavour and texture, I'm going to be using unsmoked back bacon.
I travel all over the world, and I spend a lot of time in the States. They know how to make a great slider. Pork sliders, beef sliders, chicken sliders. And it's almost like a way of having a burger, but on a much smaller, miniature level. Little teaspoon of olive oil. I want that bacon to get really nice and crispy. Bacon in. This just gives the really nice sort of chunky, delicious mix. I want texture, and pork is perfect for a slider. And chop your shallot. Shallots are a lot sweeter than your normal white onion. Fine, 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 and in. Now that bacon's getting really nice and crispy, I want a bit of heat in there. Put a little teaspoon of smoked paprika in there. And when you see these sliders in the States, for one portion there's like 4 or 5 of them, little mini one-biters. Incredible. Now, take your pork, just open it up, and give that a really nice seasoning. So important. You can't season a slider after you've cooked it. It's impossible. So, season it nicely. Bacon. Now that's nice and crispy. Just take a little touch kitchen roll and just drain that off there. Nice. Pat that nice and dry. I want all that nice sort of crispiness in there. Beautiful. Mix all that in. Take a nice ball and sort of roll it size of a golf ball. Get it nice and round first, and then 3 fingers. Just pat that down. Don't flatten them too thin, otherwise they overcook and they go sort of dry.
Because sliders are bite-sized burgers designed to go in small buns, you don't want to make them too big.
Good. Get the pan nice and hot. Tablespoon of olive oil. When a slider is literally that thick, about 1 inch thick, you're going to take 2.5 to 3 minutes each side. In. Turn them over. Lovely. Once you've turned them, tilt the pan and just spoon all that juice back into them. Even my mouth's watering now. Very easy to dry the pork out, so just feeling it now with your fingers is nice and firm. There's a little touch of springiness in the centre. I'm happy with those.
Add your cheese now so it gets nicely melted. I'm using wedges of smoked cheddar.
And it adds that nice sort of soury, smoky creaminess to the slider.
Finally, shred a baby gem lettuce.
And just take those buns, make sure they're sliced nice and evenly. Take your lettuce, be quite generous with the lettuce. Just a nice thin slice of tomato. Take your burgers. You can see that cheese. Beautifully melted. Your barbecue sauce. Place the top on. And that is my version of a slider that is small, dynamic, but packed full of flavour. I'll take that over a hamburger any day.
Course.
Packed with cooking tips, information, and 100 recipes to stake your life on.
Take it easy, because it's time for my ultimate slow cooking. Slow cooking is one of the best weapons in the chef's arsenal. Not only is it easy, it's also an incredible way to transform meat into mouth-wateringly melting dishes. Mastering the art of slow cooking is something every cook should learn. First up, my phenomenal slow-cooked beef short ribs.
Slow cooking is a brilliant way of getting lots of extra depth and intensity into your dishes. The secret is to lock in all those flavours at the start and let the ingredients do their thing as it cooks. These are beef short ribs, and there's basically 5 to 6 bones across there. And as the short rib cooks, it sticks to that bone. The bone implants flavour, and the meat just sort of melts. Cooked slowly, gives it that nice level of intensity. Slice alongside the bone, straight down. You can see that marbling. That sort of disappears and disintegrates.
I'm cooking them in a roasting tray. Get it on the heat until nice and hot.
Season the beef short ribs beautifully. Olive oil in, bone on the top. I want to start colouring that in. Really important to give the beef short ribs a really nice sear. If you didn't brown the meat off, it goes in the oven and it looks like boiled meat. So you really want that nice, dark, rich colouring. Just cut the garlic in half, slide that down the side. That's going to give that beef an amazing flavour.
To give body to the sauce, stir in a heaped teaspoon of tomato puree.
I'm just hitting the bottom of the pan with that tomato puree. And we call it cooking out the tomato puree. Otherwise, it just goes in there raw, and it gives this sort of tartness to the braised short ribs. Red wine in. Don't use an expensive bottle of red wine. There's no need.
Bring the wine up to the boil and reduce it. This burns off the alcohol and concentrates the flavour.
It makes a big difference when you reduce the red wine down by half, because it gives that nice, dark, rich intensity. Look at my garlic. That is just going to sweeten everything up. Incredible. Stock in. Beef stock, perfect. Chicken stock, fine. Just to about an inch underneath the beef short ribs. Bring it up to the boil.
To lock in all that flavour as the beef ribs slow cook, cover them so they braise from the bottom and steam from the top.
Into the oven, 2.5 hours. 170 to 180 degrees. In she goes.
The great thing about slow cooking is you do most of the work in advance and then put your feet up.
5 or 10 minutes before the beef short ribs come out of the oven, start your garnish. This is light cured pancetta. I want nice, thick lardons, nice, big, thick sticks of crispy bacon. These are delicious chestnut mushrooms. I'm not going to slice them. I'm just going to cut them in half. But look at the colour on those lardons now. All the white, raw fat has disappeared. The lardons have shrunk right down. And all we've got there now is the proper bacon. Mushrooms in. Beautiful. So the mushrooms get seasoned from the bacon.
I'm pan-frying these separately to the beef so they remain crisp and at a different texture.
Leave that to cool down. Now, this is like Christmas Day for me. When you unwrap that foil, wait till you see what's underneath it. Wow. They smell incredible. Lift and place on your tray. Beautiful.
To make a fantastic, rich, deep sauce, press the soft roasted garlic through a sieve into the cooking juices.
Want all that nice pureed garlic coming through there, because that is going to make the most amazing flavour. Scrape all of that off the sieve. Nice. And then just start sieving all that lovely braising liquor. Whoa. In. That smells delicious. Take your sauce and just glaze. Do them individually. They deserve that respect. Spoon on your bacon and your mushrooms. Beautiful. Be generous with these mushrooms. I'm telling you, they taste amazing. Flat leaf parsley. I want that freshness over those amazing ribs. Incredible. Never ever be embarrassed about going to your butcher and asking for cheap cuts, because the results are incredible. Amazing beef braised short ribs with bacon and mushrooms.
Mushrooms are one of my all-time favourite ingredients. I use chestnut mushrooms with the beef short ribs because I love their firm texture and nutty taste. But there's a huge range of other mushrooms that are great for slow-cooked dishes. And when it comes to buying them, there's one expert greengrocer who's a fountain of knowledge, Borough Market's Fred Foster.
Started off on my dad's stall in Pimlico, really. He had a salad stall.
With over 20 years of experience, he could actually write his own mushroom encyclopedia.
Mushrooms, as soon as you pick them, the moisture starts coming out of them. So you need to buy them when they're fresh. Certain products you smell for flavour, and they tend to be fruits. Mushrooms don't smell nice at all. They smell kind of metallic, really. So you have to use your eyes as your guide of what you buy with mushrooms. It's really, really important. Wild mushrooms are literally grown wild in the forests. They're just quality wherever they are. This is morel mushroom. A fantastic product, so hard to find in the wild. It's almost got an apricot-y type of flavour, earthy, woody, and of course, as you cook it, the flavour increases.
For extra flavour and texture, highly prized morels are ideal when added to slow-cooked stews and casseroles, as are the trompette de l'amour, which have a deliciously rich flavour. Another wild type to try is the chanterelle. Its subtle fruity flavour is delicious and perfect fried with butter, parsley and garlic.
When you're dealing with wild mushrooms, you need to clean them. It can be quite a slow process. It's with a soft brush. Don't use water. Never use water with mushrooms. It deteriorates the mushroom rapidly. Oyster mushrooms are very meaty mushroom. Just a lovely, silky, smooth flavour. Really nice. How do you tell whether it's fresh? Those gills are bright. Never cut an oyster mushroom, always tear it. Look at the whiteness of that. Beautiful. That would be grey if it was old.
Although also found wild, oyster mushrooms are more commonly cultivated along with a similar type, the enoki. Their delicate taste is great in salads and soups. Finally, Fred saved the best until last.
And of course, the pinnacle is the truffle. They are really, really sought after. The smell is so intense. That smell, it's hard to describe because it's such a unique smell. The more expensive the truffle, the more intense the smell. So that's why you use such a small amount on a dish. It's amazing the way they get these. They used to use pigs, of course, but they don't do that anymore. They use dogs now because the pigs used to eat them all.
This magical tasting fungi is by weight one of the most expensive foods in the world. It's phenomenal eaten raw, shaped over pasta or risottos, or a drizzle of truffle oil turns slow-cooked stews into something out of this world.
People are actually scared of mushrooms, aren't they? So it's amazing, really. They shouldn't be, because take away the fear and just close your eyes and taste them. They're just amazing. They are amazing.
Cooking all the ingredients in one dish helps to lock in taste and get great flavours working together. Here are 3 recipes that turn simple ingredients into amazing dishes.
First up, a fantastically aromatic, melt-in-the-mouth treat, pork neck curry with mango salsa. For the curry paste, add chopped lemongrass, chilli, fresh ginger, garlic and kaffir lime leaf to a pestle and mortar. Next, put in aromatic ground cinnamon and coriander, a pinch of salt, black pepper, then bash it into a rough paste. Finally, add olive oil to loosen and your paste is done. Now onto the pork neck. Add a glug of olive oil to a hot pan and brown the diced meat carefully, making sure each side hits the heat, locking in that flavour. Remove, and in the same pan, cook sliced onions until brown around the edges. Add the curry paste and fry to release all the intense flavours. Then put the pork back in, along with the coconut milk, and stir. Next, add chicken stock, palm sugar, more kaffir lime leaves, soy sauce, and fish sauce to taste. Then simply simmer for an hour. Slow cooked for succulence, spicy, super easy to make, and wonderful served with fresh mango salsa, pork neck curry. My next easy slow cook recipe is incredible spicy Szechuan chicken thighs. First, marinate the thighs with soy sauce and Shaoxing wine, which is made from fermented rice and tastes similar to dry sherry. Chicken thighs do a lot of work, so they need more cooking, but cooked properly, they're moist and they're the tastiest part of the bird. Next, add rice vinegar, water, then season and leave to marinate for up to 2 hours. Then chop garlic, chili, and ginger. Add olive oil to a hot pan and fry until softened. Add Szechuan peppercorns and orange zest. Next, add the marinated chicken thighs along with the marinade. Then throw in a pinch of sugar and fry the chicken until it's lovely and brown, and the sauce is deliciously thick. Finish with chopped spring onions, a glug of soy sauce, and a few drops of sesame seed oil. Marinated for flavour, sweet and spicy chicken, a fuss-free wonder. My final slow-cooked dish that transforms simple ingredients into unforgettable food is simple beef brisket. Start by seasoning the meat well. Brisket is a cut of beef from the breast. It's inexpensive, but it's fit for royalty with long, slow cooking. Place it into a hot casserole dish with a little olive oil and brown on all sides. Next, make a tasty broth to flavour the meat. Into the dish, add chopped carrots, celery, a whole bulb of garlic cut in half, peppercorns, aromatic cloves, and freshly ground nutmeg. Pour in hot water to braise the brisket. Bring to the boil and cover tightly. Then transfer the dish to a low oven and cook for 3 to 4 hours. Cooked low and slow, the results are amazing. Tender, melt-in-the-mouth meat. Fantastic with roast potatoes or in sandwiches with lots of mustard, but I like it best with tangy piccalilli. In the oven in under 10 minutes. Then all you have to do is sit back and wait. So easy and absolutely delicious. What's not to love about my succulent beef brisket? This is my ultimate cookery course, 100 recipes to stake your life on. Soon, I'll be teaching you a wonderful slow-cooked dessert.
And look at the colour on them. The smell is incredible.
But first, 5 more of my 100 tips to make your home cooking easier. Starting with how to cook duck breast perfectly the slow way.
Duck breast. Never be scared about cooking this bird. Absolutely delicious, very healthy. First, oven on, 200 degrees. And then, salt, pepper. Now, the salt will help to extract the water out of the fat. Non-stick pan, no oil, but start the duck breast in the pan cold. Skin side down, it feels and sounds a little bit weird. But as we put them into a cold pan and turn the heat up gradually, it starts to release the fat. If we put them into a hot pan, it seals them in and the fat stays in there. We want to render that fat down. 90% of that duck breast will be cooked on its skin. Keeps the duck nice and moist, but more importantly, it stays crispy. Once the fat comes out, turn the duck over. Nice, high, hot heat. Seal the duck. Now they're going in the oven, skin side down, 200, 6 to 8 minutes. If your pan's got a plastic handle on it, then transfer the duck breast onto a tray, but make sure you put the tray into the oven to get hot first. Cooking duck is like cooking a piece of beef. You can't slice it piping hot, all the goodness runs out. Just quickly turn it over, push your fingers in there, and it's slightly resistant, but still quite bouncy. And that confirms they're quite pink in the centre. But the important part now is leaving that to rest, let them cool down, and then we'll slice them. Keep that excess duck fat, and there you go. Next time you're sauteing potatoes, you just take them to a completely different level. Now, slicing the duck, just slice it at an angle, not too thin. If you slice it thinly, it goes cold quickly, so nice thick slices. Nice crispy skin on top, and a beautiful, plump, roasted duck. All the white fat gone, nice crispy skin, and absolutely delicious.
Another slow cooking tip is, when slow cooking stews and casseroles, fat will rise to the surface. To get rid of any excess oils, my tip is to remove them with kitchen paper before serving. This also works brilliantly on gravies and sauces. Many great slow-cooked dishes start by browning the meat. As the meat cooks, lots of flavours get stuck to the pan. To get it into your sauce, deglaze with wine, stock or vinegar. Never add soft herbs at the beginning of slow cooking. They're all too delicate. The tip is to add them at the end for that hit of fresh flavour and vibrant colour. A great tip when frying fish is to always fry skin side down to keep it crispy. And always lay the fillets away from you when adding to the pan to prevent hot oil from splashing towards you. Slow cooking isn't exclusive to just savoury dishes. It's a clever way to transform fruit into wonderful desserts, giving them an amazing sticky, jammy intensity. Invest a bit of patience and my next recipe pays off big time. Indulgent and bursting with flavour. Caramelized figs with ricotta.
Slow cooking can also take desserts to a whole new level. A gentle, long cook can really bring out that wonderful, rich, sticky sweetness and that depth of flavour in fruits. These are black figs. They are suited to slow cooking, roasting, better than the green figs, because this outside skin is so durable. This is an amazing way of roasting figs, and it's so easy, yet so delicious.
Lay your figs out in rows.
Take some rosemary and just peel that down. Get that really nice, fragrant stem. Get your scissors, trim the edge. Almost where you've got a bit of a sort of sharp point. Bring your 3 figs together and just thread the top of each fig nice and gently.
Rosemary works wonderfully with sweet dishes. As the figs roast in the oven, the stalk will impart a lovely, subtle flavour.
Beautiful.
Dust the figs with icing sugar, then coat them with a generous splash of balsamic vinegar.
Leave them to sit there for 5 minutes, and they sort of marinate.
I know it sounds odd to use vinegar in your dessert, but trust me, it gives the dish a fantastic sweet and sour taste.
I'm gonna make a really nice caramel. 4 or 5 tablespoons of sugar. Now, flatten that out and get it nice and even. When the sugar is even, caramel cooks evenly. It's changing now. You can see it melting from the outside in. The one thing you don't do is shake the pan rapidly. You see it almost like sort of a lake defrosting, and it's hitting to the centre, bubbling. It's still not dark enough yet. It's getting there. Turn the gas down and stay in control.
Let the sugar melt until it turns a dark amber colour.
The secret behind any good caramel is just stopping it from overcooking. Lovely. Take that off the gas. Knob of butter in there. Just gently whisk in the butter. It's cooling the caramel down. you'll see it changing colour to like a cafe au lait.
Next, add a glug of the balsamic vinegar.
Nice. Beautiful. Got that nice, dark richness of the caramel. A little touch of water in there. That way the caramel doesn't go too thick.
Now put the caramel back on the heat.
Take your figs and sort of place them in gently. Lovely. And then just add all that lovely little marinade. Don't waste that. It's amazing stuff there. No. Icing sugar and balsamic vinegar. There's something so tasty. Baste those figs because the skin gets nice and crispy on the outside and the fig sort of just absorbs the caramel. It's delicious. So easy. Now, into the oven. 190 for 10 minutes. Almost doubled in size. Now look at the colour on them. The smell is incredible. Onto your plate. They're a lot heavier because they've actually started absorbing that caramel.
Now douse the figs with caramel and serve with ricotta cheese.
The freshness of that ricotta goes brilliantly well with the figs. I'm going to finish that now with some zest and then some little nibbed almonds and the rich, creamy jam texture of the fig with the ricotta. Okay, brilliant. That is an amazing way of slow roasting fruit and taking figs to a completely new level.
Follow my ultimate cookery course crammed with key lessons, top tips, and 100 recipes to stake your life on, and you'll literally be cooking yourself into a better chef. Many of these amazing recipes
Are on my app. Please check out the App Store for details.
Go on, get cooking.